Hey meine Lieben, willkommen zu einem weiteren Video. Und zwar ist heute ein bisschen anders da. Und zwar kennt ihr das Spiel Hytale. Ist schon sehr lange in Planung, das rauskommt. Letztes Mal, damals ist schon fast beinahe rausgekommen. Aber ja, jetzt haben wir schon ein paar Sachen bekannt gegeben. Und jetzt schauen wir uns mal an, was hältst du von nach diesem Video? Was hältst du von diesem Spiel? Schreibt es doch gerne mal in die Kommentare. Und mach diesen verdammten Abo-Button weg. Also, let's go. Schauen wir uns mal an, ne? Und nicht wundern, meine Lippen sind ein bisschen blau. Ich habe Wassereis gefressen. So, Leute, auf geht's.
So it's been exactly 2 years since my last video talking about the game Hytale, and also 4 years since the initial announcement trailer, which kind of broke the internet, but still
Also für die, wo es nicht wissen, dieses Spiel soll Minecraft ähneln oder übertrumpfen. Und ich denke, es wird auch zu 100%. Minecraft ist jetzt noch nach 13 Jahren immer noch der Hype. So, ist das erste Spiel, wo das rausbringt, wo Minecraft vom Thron runterboxt. Werden wir das herausfinden in diesem Video oder werden wir das den Jahren oder auch dieses Jahr noch? Wer weiß. Ich hoffe, dass es noch dieses Jahr noch passiert, weil ich freue mich so dermaßen auf dieses Spiel. Krass, einfach nur krass. Also, schauen wir weiter.
every once in a while I'll see a comment that's like, hey, what happened to Hytale? Like, is this game dead? Is it still in development? Like, what's going on? Now, it's funny because I know quite a few people that will click on today's video have probably never even heard about Hytale, and for that I actually apologize, because you're about to learn about a game that looks kind of cool that probably isn't going to come out for many more years. So real quick, to get you up to speed, Hytale is a Minecraft-like game that was announced all the way back in 2018, during the time where I was...
So, wenn ich jetzt hier genau sehe, hier oben in der Ecke, ist es dann wie so ein kleines Dungeon-System, so kleine Quests oder ja, so kleine Aufgaben, wo man halt Sachen erledigen muss und dann eine kleine Bonus, Gold, Diamanten, Rubin, keine Ahnung, irgendwas oder Rüstung oder sonst was bekommt. Werden wir sehen. Ich hoffe es mal, das ist bestimmt cool. Auch von der Grafik her ist es sehr interessant und die Baumodi soll sehr gut sein. Also, schauen wir weiter.
I would say Minecraft was in a little bit of a slump, you know. People thought that Hytale might be the thing to dethrone it. The game is being created by Hypixel Studios, and if that sounds familiar, it's probably because you've heard about the Hypixel Minecraft server, which has been running for many years at this point. Hypixel Studios were acquired by Riot Games in...
Also, wenn wir jetzt hier mal geguckt haben gerade, gibt es auch die Funktion als Magier oder was? Also mit Zaubersprüchen oder so. Das ist cool. Also da freue ich mich schon drauf. Cool.
April 2020, and since my last video, things have been very quiet about the game. Very direct, but very quiet. Now, it's my goal in today's video to let you know what exactly happened to Hytale, because the last time I spoke about this game, it had a potential release date of 2021, and here we are at the cusp of 2022, and this game isn't going to be out for a long time. But before we get into that, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to you by the Rich Wallet, which is because...
Gut, das muss man jetzt nicht sehen.
Exactly 3 blog posts talking about the game.
Das
one
ist cool.
in summer 2021, one in winter 2021, one in summer 2022, and you'd imagine, by that logic, there's probably a new blog post that's right around the corner. But I decided not to delay today's video to wait for that blog post, because I tend to find that the actual contents of the blog posts themselves are not actually that interesting to me. Which I know sounds a little bit strange, because what I really care about is the developers' comments talking about the...
Warte mal, man kann sich zum Drachen verwandeln? Boah, das ist ja voll cool, ey. Das ist geil. Woo! Das ist geil. Mal lieber Stravinsky.
actual development of the game. Now, it tends to be that the second half of each blog post contains a new aspect of the game that's being reworked based on something we've already seen. And with that in mind, I tend to find that these blog posts are usually focusing on reimagining and reimagining and reimagining, which is very interesting to learn about, sure, but it also strikes me as something that might just become irrelevant, as this game has been in development for so many years now and still has a long time to go. Reading about these aspects of the game, although very exciting, just seems a little bit strange. I'm like, is this actually going to make the final version? Maybe, maybe not. But let's actually talk about real development now. So in the summer 2021 blog post is when the developers started to really rip the Band-Aid.
So wie wir auch hier sehen können mit der Block, wie die Block gemacht sind, es ist wie Minecraft. Also es ist haargenau wie Minecraft von der Baumodi her. Also von den Baublöcke und so weiter. Aber die ganze Art, wie das gemacht wird, ist einfach viel, viel geiler gemacht und soll halt viel, viel aufregender sein und soll länger halten. Also, bis jetzt sind wir noch bei der Hälfte. Schreibt doch gerne mal in die Kommentare, ob du denkst, ob das Hytale Minecraft überschlagen kann oder ob du denkst, nee, ist es wirklich nicht so. Schreib doch mal in die Kommentare, was du darüber denkst. Also, bis dann. Machen wir weiter, ne?
Off in terms of community's expectations of when this game will be completed. Cool. And this is actually something that I admire them for. I spoke about this more in my last video, but one of the gambles the Hytale team did pretty early on is actually try and kill hype for their game, because they were not expecting such a big response to that initial trailer, and they also knew that they couldn't keep that hype moving throughout all of the years of development. So what they decided to do is actually pull back until.
Also das ist cool, dass die Kerzen oben der Docht, wenn er brennt, das auch wackelt. Ja? Also das ist echt cool. Also ich will es jetzt schon, am liebsten würde ich jetzt schon gerne spielen. Am liebsten würde ich jetzt schon gerne spielen. So geil. Eieiei, meine Herren.
Closer to that release window. So in summer 2021, this is what they had to say. The first half of 2021 has been a period of significant change both for Hytale and Hypixel Studios. We've continued to recruit new team members whose talent and unique perspectives have expanded our sense of what Hytale can be. We've changed the way we work, steadily moving away from exploratory approach that has defined the project's first few years towards more efficient, targeted production milestones. At the same time, our design for Hytale has been evolving. Some parts of the game have undergone radical change, while in other areas we've expanded on established groundwork. And this, for me, sums up part of what I think happened to Hytale. You see, Hytale did not begin development with a large studio. Instead, it began development with a core group of people that were just really passionate about Minecraft, wanting to make their own game. They released a trailer which broke the internet, and then with that came a lot of expectation.
Also da haben wir wieder die sogenannte die Farm-Modi, ja. Man kann wieder farmen, man kann wieder anpflanzen, man kann wieder ernten. Das Ganze echt cool. Aber ich sehe jetzt tatsächlich kein Wasser. Vielleicht ist es dort so gemacht, dass man kein Wasser mehr braucht. Vielleicht ist es die Erde ja schon feucht genug dafür. Mal schauen. Ich bin schon ganz gespannt, wenn es rauskommt. Endlich mal.
But also opportunities. You see, when they were acquired by Riot Games, what that gave them was a lot more money to play with. And since then, even to this day, they have been expanding Hypixel Studios to bring on just more and more people. And with that...
Also die haben das Wachstum wirklich dazu gemacht. Also das Wachstum an sich haben sie dazu gemacht, dass sie das dann besser aussieht vom Wachsen her.
You also bring on fresh perspectives. Every time you bring in a new person into the company with real talent, their talent will make you want to rethink the project that you're working on, and this is just the nature of expanding a company. One thing you do have to be careful of though when you expand like this is to make sure that you actually have a good director in place. Somebody that has a very clear vision of what the game is to be, because with all of these fresh perspectives, you do run the risk of losing what the original purpose of the game was. And as we'll talk about in a future blog post, it's...
Also wie wir jetzt hier sehen, gibt es auch so einen gewissen, so einen Schlag, wo halt mehr Power gibt, so einen Powerschlag an sich dann. Dann gibt es auch noch verschiedene Waffen, eine Keule und so weiter, Axt, cool. Also ist echt cool. Das ist echt geil gemacht.
Like, they've had a little rethink and a clearer vision of what the final product is going to look like. Now, they did give a new estimated launch window in this blog post, but it's something I would take with quite a grain of salt. They wrote, "What has become increasingly apparent is that we have several more years of work ahead of us before Hytale is ready to launch. We don't want to provide another estimated launch window that turns out to be incorrect. However, we no longer expect to be ready to launch Hytale before 2023 at the earliest, and it could very well take longer." Now, the reason I said take that with a grain of salt is because 2023, although it seemed pretty far away in 2021, really is unrealistic. And we learned in winter 2021 that they were once again...
Stopp. Es gibt ein Baumenü? Nein. Also mit Blueprint dann hier das Markieren oder was?
Reevaluating the game, as they wrote...
Aber warte mal. Kopiert er das jetzt, oder wie? Ja, guck mal, der kopiert das ja dann. Also kannst du... Oh, das wird so geil, ich will jetzt schon spielen.
They wrote, "As explained in our previous developer update, we've spent a lot of time over the last year conducting deep investigation into all of the things we need to do in order to ensure that Hytale lives up to expectations. This investigation extends from technology underpinning the game to the design and structure of Hytale itself. Many of these efforts are ongoing, particularly on the technical side. It's vitally important to us that Hytale supports a large, interconnected community for many years to come. That means making sure that we're ready for the challenges that come with growth, including eventually releasing the game on multiple platforms." And this, in a way, is the second thing that happened to Hytale. This new restructuring and refocus to guarantee that the game is well optimized so that it can run on multiple platforms.
Also man kann in einer Vogelperspektive, natürlich brauchst du auch wahrscheinlich aber auch die ganzen Ressourcen dafür. Man kannst mit diesem Menü kannst du bauen. Du kannst dann eine Wege bauen von oben, dass es strategisch einfach viel besser ist. Du kannst die Mauern akkurat bauen, die Türme, Häuser akkurat. Boah, du kannst mal als Skyrim oder so neu bauen, ne? Oder keine Ahnung, Dörfer, Städte. Cool, aber nur cool. Es erleichtert einfach so viel. Das könnte eigentlich Minecraft haben. Vielleicht wird es irgendwann mal reinkommen, wenn Hytale auf dem Markt ist.
And I want to clear up again, I don't think that this is a bad thing, especially considering what Hytale hopes to achieve. You see, Hytale is very much like Minecraft in a way, but a big emphasis for the game is modding and multiplayer. And what I think they're trying to achieve is a real synergy between each version of the game. For example, if you're playing on mobile, it would be great to play with somebody on PC, but what about mods? What if they had a modded version of the game? Does that mean because you're playing on mobile, you can't play with them? Because right now, that's how games operate. A great example of this is Minecraft Bedrock Edition, where you can have a custom map on Xbox and you can bring that over to mobile and there's no issue along the way. But the problem with Minecraft is you have Bedrock Edition, but then you also have Java Edition. And as we've seen with Minecraft, trying to get people to develop the exact same things for Java and Bedrock is nearly an impossible task. And therefore, by delaying the game and redeveloping it so that it all runs on the same architecture, you guarantee that a particular version doesn't fall behind the rest. And like I said, with...
Also mal davor jetzt, du kannst im Multiplayer, wenn du einen eigenen Server hast, alles selber bauen. Cool, das ist echt cool. Hier jetzt zum Beispiel, kannst du da sogar einen eigenen Charakter machen, oder was?
Modding and multiplayer being a primary focus for this game, having that synergy there, well, that's actually really important. Now, in summer 2022, they gave another pretty big announcement. They wrote, "We're aware that some eagle-eyed community members have already spotted that we've stopped listing Java and C# in our job descriptions."
C++. Das ist ja die Masterklasse von allen, ey. Also das wird geil. Das wird auf 100% wahrscheinlich Minecraft übertrumpfen, Hytale. Und ich freue mich schon, wenn das rauskommt. Ich freue mich richtig.
This is because we've made the decision to redevelop Hytale's engine, both the client and the server, in C++. Doing so provides several major benefits. It makes it easier for us to release Hytale across multiple platforms. This is one of the most common requests we've received, and we want to deliver on it without compromising on quality. We also wish to avoid a situation where our community finds themselves split up based on the platform they play on. It provides performance benefits, and finally, it will make it easier for us to patch and maintain the game in the future, and establishes a stronger foundation for the future development of Hytale. Now, in my opinion, this is pretty huge for two reasons. First off, you have to go back to the drawing board and redevelop your engine, something that I'm pretty sure they did not want to do, and also, it makes it
Hytale Asset Editor. Also wird es dann in-game dann mit drin sein, oder was?
harder for them to steal
Also diese Effekte jetzt
modders away from Minecraft, modders who are used to developing their mods using Java. But in the long term, stealing modders away from Minecraft, will that be a big deal? Honestly, I don't know. So in conclusion, what exactly happened to Hytale? Well, as we've learned, they've been expanding their team, and with expansion comes a fresh set of eyes. They've also realized fairly late into development, I'm sorry to say, that they do need to redevelop the game so that it can have this simultaneous multi-platform support. And I personally believe that that is the right decision, because if you don't launch that way in 2020 whatever, I think they're going to fall behind fairly quickly. And one thing I hope never happens is they get spooked by the idea that people will not be around for the release of Hytale. Because, yeah, maybe some people that watched that reveal trailer, they won't really be into it in a couple of years. But a new generation will be around, and if they make a good game, people will play it. They don't need to rely on people that saw the initial trailer. The budget they must have received from Riot Games, of course, will not be limitless, and there will come a day where they need to make sure the game is completed. But until that day, honestly, spend all the time and all the money you need, because in reality, you only get one shot at this, and I feel like they've got everything in place to pull it off. Like, I'm a big Hytale believer. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay.
Du interessierst.
Nein, interessiert mich nicht. Also, schreibt dir doch gerne mal in den Kommentaren, was du denkst, ob Hytale es schafft, Minecraft zu betrumpfen oder nicht. Also, hau rein.